She became a bride for the first time, but trouble found her on the way. The coachman suddenly warned her. Someone was chasing them. Several masked men rushed toward them on horseback. The coachman could only speed up and escape, but Enola refused to just sit and wait. She opened the carriage door, and quickly moved into the driver's seat. Before the coachman could react, he handed her a shotgun. Everyone thought she would fight back with it, but Enola jumped onto the roof of the carriage instead. The person who fell from the horse turned out to be Dr. Watson. Watson brought shocking news. Sherlock was missing, and he was most likely kidnapped. Enola couldn't believe what she heard, because her brother Sherlock Holmes was one of the greatest detectives alive. He was brilliant and observant, and he was also highly skilled in combat. Whoever took him was definitely not an ordinary person. To find her brother quickly, Enola rushed to Sherlock's home. The room looked perfectly neat, but small details revealed something was wrong. Someone had clearly searched through the place. The tobacco pipe on the desk was still warm, meaning Sherlock had only been taken recently, but the tobacco inside was not the kind Sherlock usually smoked. The notebook on the desk was filled with complicated coded messages. Enola began trying to solve them. Then she noticed something nearby, a piece of golden fabric. She believed Sherlock had left a clue behind, so she carefully searched the entire room. Soon, she discovered a blurry fingerprint on the mirror. The marks formed a Morse code message, and the clue pointed to Horst and Havering, but the information was too scattered. They couldn't figure out the truth yet. Enola believed Sherlock had intentionally left this clue for her, but she didn't know. Everything was part of a dangerous plan. At that moment, Enola's fiancé Tuks returned. She wanted to explain everything that happened, but then she noticed a red-coated soldier. That reminded her of the night before the wedding. At the dinner party, Sherlock had also been watching that soldier closely. Enola once asked her brother who he was, but Sherlock refused to explain. That was the last time she ever saw her brother Sherlock. To uncover the truth, Enola immediately followed the soldier. She thought tracking him would reveal a new clue, but she never expected that at the next street corner, a gunshot suddenly broke the silence. The red-coated soldier collapsed. Enola rushed over to check on him, but he couldn't provide any useful information. Before dying, he only left behind one word: anger. But such a small clue was not enough to continue the investigation. So Enola returned to Sherlock's notebook, trying to find more answers. Suddenly, a strange sound came from outside the door. Enola quickly blew out the candle, grabbed a candle holder, and slowly walked toward the entrance. The person who appeared was actually Tuks, but this unexpected moment turned their romantic wedding night into complete chaos. Although Tuks was unhappy about everything, he understood that Sherlock's disappearance was important to Enola. However, the real danger had only just begun. The next day, a fire suddenly broke out in the castle. When Enola learned that Tuks was inside looking for his mother, she rushed into the flames without hesitation. After overcoming countless obstacles, she finally reached Tuks' mother's room, but the door was clearly damaged. Someone had forced it open. The room was completely empty. Enola immediately realized Tuks' mother might have been kidnapped too. In such a short time, both of their loved ones had disappeared. This made Enola realize the two cases must be connected. She calmed herself down and used Sherlock's way of thinking to piece together every clue. Tuks' mother couldn't have left the castle alone at night, and the broken door proved she was taken by force. But why would the kidnapper set the entire castle on fire afterward? Enola started to suspect they were searching for something important, not money. She quickly returned to the room to investigate, and discovered the jewelry and valuables were still there. The kidnapper clearly wasn't after wealth. Just then, a figure appeared outside the window. Enola grabbed a hairpin and hid behind the door. When the man approached, she quickly took him down and demanded answers about Sherlock. At first, the man refused to talk, but eventually, Enola forced him to reveal the truth. The man's name was Mycroft. Mycroft revealed that Sherlock was likely taken by Professor Adeline Rath, a mysterious and dangerous woman. He also told Enola that he belonged to a Maltese anti-reform group. Their goal was to break free from British control, but even they refused to support the brutal methods of Professor Rath. Just then, the police suddenly arrived, because Mycroft himself was a wanted man. He used the chaos and escaped before getting arrested. Once again, Enola lost an important lead. She was eventually taken away by the police. Luckily, Tuks used his family influence and managed to get her released. Although Mycroft's escape interrupted the investigation, Enola refused to give up. She continued searching for answers. Inside Tuks' mother's room, she discovered several special medals. When she showed them to Tuks, she suddenly noticed something in the distance. A woman's clothing looked exactly like the golden fabric found in Sherlock's room. Enola immediately followed her, but the woman seemed to know she was being followed. Instead, she deliberately led Enola into a hidden passage. The woman ran through the dark corridor and disappeared at the end. Enola quickly chased after her. Eventually, she found the woman, but she was already badly injured and unable to provide more information. For a moment, Enola had no idea where to go next. But then, she thought of another mysterious figure. Moriarty, the hidden enemy, finally appeared again. She had been controlling everything from the shadows, treating everyone like pieces on a chessboard. But Enola quickly realized she wasn't completely trapped by Moriarty's plan. She began turning the investigation around and demanded answers about Sherlock, but Moriarty refused to reveal his location. After investigating further, Enola discovered the British government was building a sewage system in Malta. The project gave Moriarty the perfect place to hide. At the same time, the public wedding between Enola and Tuks had also become part of Moriarty's plan. He wanted to use this opportunity to attack the Holmes family and push forward his own political goals. During their confrontation, Enola's mother Eudoria suddenly arrived, disrupting Moriarty's plan. But Moriarty still managed to escape. Eudoria reminded Enola that Moriarty had a mind as sharp as Sherlock's. When searching for the truth, she couldn't only look ahead. She also had to notice what was hidden behind it. At the same time, she told Enola Sherlock was still alive, to rescue her brother. Enola and the others began putting the clues together again, but the two biggest leads they had already been eliminated by Moriarty. The investigation reached another dead end. Then, Enola suddenly remembered the medals. She realized the red-coated soldier who was killed had been wearing the same kind of medal. Tuks also remembered that his family had taken part in that battle years ago. To uncover the connection, they secretly entered the military archives. There, they discovered a classified file that had been torn apart. Using a pencil, Enola carefully traced the marks left on the paper and restored the hidden information. The truth was finally revealed. Years ago, many soldiers and civilians died during the war. To cover up what happened, the government paid 1 ton of gold as compensation, but the British Army used the war as an excuse to launch a brutal operation in cost and steal all the gold. The red-coated soldier Sherlock was investigating was actually working for Moriarty. His mission was to find the hidden gold. After that, Enola went straight to Commander Smith and exposed the truth behind the past. She discovered Tuks' father had been involved in the military operation. They had stolen gold from a shrine, harmed innocent people, and blamed Malta for everything. The truth was impossible for Tuks to accept, because the father he once admired was not the person he believed him to be. But Commander Smith still tried to defend their actions, claiming it was only a mistake during war. Enola continued searching for the location of the gold. Then she suddenly remembered a story Tuks told her as a child. There was a hidden treasure inside a cave by the sea. At that moment, Enola finally understood. Moriarty's real goal was not just finding her. He wanted to use her to discover where the gold was hidden. All the clues they found before, the soldier, the mysterious woman, the castle fire, and the Morse code on the mirror, were all placed there by Moriarty. He wanted everyone to follow his trail until they found the gold. Enola confirmed her theory and decided to search for the truth herself. She went alone to the seaside cave. There, she found a hidden chain beside an underground river. Using all her strength, she pulled the chain out and discovered it was connected to a treasure chest. She smashed the lock open with a rock. Inside was a box full of shining gold. The secret was finally uncovered. The gold had been hidden underground all along by Tuks' father. But as Enola left the cave, ready to tell everyone the truth, Moriarty suddenly appeared. He had captured Mycroft and surrounded them completely. Moriarty demanded the location of the gold and refused to release Sherlock without it. Enola knew Moriarty was far more dangerous than they expected. But this time, Moriarty had also underestimated her, because Enola had already prepared a counterplan. She had secretly gathered allies and made sure Moriarty wasn't the only one controlling the situation. Just when Moriarty realized he was surrounded, he refused to give up. Instead, he created chaos and used the chance to escape. Enola immediately chased after him, because Moriarty was the only remaining clue that could lead her to Sherlock and Tuks' mother. After a long pursuit, the two finally fought face to face. Although Moriarty was clever and ruthless, Enola used her quick movements and finally defeated her. She then discovered a hidden passage nearby. Inside, she found Sherlock and rescued Tuks' mother. Just as Enola was freeing Tuks' mother, Moriarty suddenly appeared again, trying to turn the situation around one last time. But this time, Sherlock had already escaped. He quickly overpowered Moriarty. When Sherlock prepared to end everything, Enola stopped him. She believed they couldn't solve the problem the same way their enemies did. Moriarty needed to face justice, not revenge. But no one expected that at that exact moment, Tuks' mother appeared from behind and struck Moriarty with a stone, ending the dangerous conspiracy. After everything was over, Tuks decided to return the gold to Malta, and the country was finally moving toward independence from Britain. With Moriarty gone and Commander Smith arrested, the decades-long scheme finally came to an end. The distance between Enola and Sherlock also slowly disappeared. After this rescue mission, Sherlock finally saw his sister differently. He realized Enola was not just a young girl following his shadow. She had her own intelligence, her own courage, and her own path as a detective. The story ended with Enola and Tuks celebrating their wedding. Looking back at the entire game, Moriarty had planned every move carefully. She used greed, she used hatred, and she used people's weaknesses. But she underestimated one thing: Enola's determination to do what was right. The Holmes name once represented logic, cold judgment, and absolute reason. But Enola gave that legendary family name a new meaning. She solved the mystery behind Sherlock's disappearance and crossed the distance between herself and her family. Through every danger she faced, she finally discovered who she truly was.